Hello guys, welcome to Leg Sample. Today we are going to discuss about JMFC examination. This is going to be a 2-lecture video. In the first lecture, that is today, we'll be discussing about JMFC exam pattern, exam syllabus, exam eligibility and some introductory strategy. In the next video, we'll be discussing about what are the different reference books that one needs to refer other than the bare acts for the syllabus. And how is the strategy, and we'll also be focusing on completing the syllabus with at least 2 revisions within a 6 months of time, and we'll be continuously posting videos on the syllabus, and we'll also be posting different things related to LLB and BLLB syllabus. Okay, so I request you guys to stay connected. Those who have not subscribed, I request you guys to subscribe and support. Please comment down any questions that you have. I would definitely make sure I'll address all your concerns and queries, and hoping to get the feedback from you guys. So let us start. Today we are going to discuss about JMFC, that is Judicial Magistrate First Class Examination conducted by MPSC, that is Maharashtra Public Service Commission. This examination is conducted to get inducted into judicial services in Maharashtra government, and we'll discuss later on what are the different responsibilities of a JMFC and what is the salary and all that. That's not an important thing right now, because as long as you want to enter into a certain career, these all things don't matter. This offers great opportunity, a challenging job, and it's something that opens a lot of doors for you to move to the higher judiciaries. We'll also discuss that in some other video. So this examination takes place in 3 phases. First one being prelims, second one being mains, and third one interview. So the first phase, prelims, is of qualifying nature. Okay, so the scores that you get over here are not calculated towards your final total. This is a MCQ based examination. Okay, this is an objective examination. There will be 100 questions, 100 marks, and the duration of the examination will be 2 hours. For every question that you marked wrong, you will lose 0.25 marks. That is, this examination has negative marking. Okay, so make sure you keep that in mind. The mode of examination would be in English, and we'll discuss the eligibility part later. But if you prepare sincerely and if you keep following the things that we are discussing over here, I can definitely assure you guys that almost all of you would succeed in this examination, because compared to other MPSC or UPSC posts, this post has a comparatively lower amount of competition, because in other examinations mostly the competition is among all graduates, but in this case the competition is among just law graduates. And if you consider the number of posts that are offered in these examinations is comparatively high as well, and also, as I said, it is there for just law graduates only, so that gives you an additional advantage. Okay, the first phase, as we have discussed, is a qualifying phase, prelims examination. Next phase is mains examination. Mains examination has 2 papers, paper 1 and paper 2. Paper 2 is of civil laws, paper 2 is of criminal laws. So I expect that most of you must be law graduates, currently pursuing law or want to pursue law. So you must be aware that we have these 2 different types of laws, civil and criminal. And once we discuss the syllabus, you'll get to know about it in further details. Now, previous year question paper had a format in this way, that it had 6 questions and 100 marks, and the second paper had 10 questions and 100 marks. And so out of this total 100 marks, 50 marks are the qualifying marks. So what does that mean? For example, if you score 55 marks in paper 1 and 49 marks in paper 2, you won't qualify this examination and you will not be invited to interview. What does that mean? That you cannot have 80 in one paper and 49 in another paper. You need to have at least 50-50 in both the papers, and then also clear whatever the cutoff that is there. Okay, so this is the criteria for mains examination. As I said, mains is a subjective, that is descriptive examination. You need to write down answers in a certain number of words to score marks over here. And this is the examination that is the most important phase, where all your skills and all your preparation of throughout the year. Otherwise, if you just look at the syllabus, it won't take more than 3 months for you to get accustomed to it and get prepared to do well in it. But if you look at the format of this examination, the mains examination, it asks you the questions in applied manner in legal news that are currently happening around you. So they'll take a news, they'll take a topic from the current legal discussion, and then they'll ask you to apply your legal knowledge on that topic, so that it is clear that you are a person who can basically apply your knowledge from just theoretical perspective to what is practically happening out there. So this is the test basically. And for the whole year, you need to prepare for this examination, write a lot of answers. From next week onwards, we are going to post 2 questions every Wednesday, 2 questions every Sunday, and I expect you guys to write down those questions and discuss amongst your friends the answers, so that the next time you're going to appear for your examination, it can be this year or the next year, you will have the clarity on how to exactly write down the answers. And this can only happen with practice, I can assure you guys. It is not going to happen overnight or in an easy way. There's no easy way to get out of it. And we'll also be discussing the further slides, but then in both the papers, there will be 2 questions for 20 marks each, which basically have judgment writing. What is judgment writing is, those law students who are listening to this video right now must be aware that we refer case laws, right? In case laws, we see that the judgment has been written by the bench that was talking about it. And similarly, you'll be given a scenario, obviously an imaginary scenario, and then from that scenario, you need to devise your judgment and write it down. It has 40 marks. So 40 marks is something that is 20% of your actual scores in mains. So you clearly know what is the question that can give you 20% mark right away. And this is the most advantageous thing about this examination, that you initially itself know that what exactly you need to prepare, and if you strategize well, you can clearly get through. I can assure you that. So I was talking about the qualifying marks. So you need to qualify 50-50, you need to score 50-50 marks to qualify to the next phase. And the total duration of the examination is 3 hours each. So there will be a 1 paper, like paper 1 in the morning and paper 1 in the afternoon session. The examination will happen on the same day itself. Once you have scored the cutoff marks in this phase, you will be called for the interview. Interview is going to be of 50 marks, and out of which 20 would be the qualifying marks. Say for example, a student has scored great flying colors in the mains examination, but he was unable to secure the 20 marks qualifying criteria in the interviews, then he will not be selected, even if his total results into the amount of total that is required for one student to qualify the post. Even if he can be a topper, he'll not be selected, right? So interview is also going to be one of the important phases, because all your hard work can go into vain if you are not able to secure the specific criteria of marks, qualifying marks of the interview. So prelims would be qualifying. You just need to score the qualifying cutoff marks to be able to appear for the mains. Whatever you score in mains more than the qualifying marks is going to be calculated towards your final total. That will decide whether you will receive the post or not, and also the scores of the interview would be added to those marks in order to calculate your total marks or final scoring marks. So this is it about the exam pattern. I know there has been a lot of confusion when it comes to eligibility of this examination. Okay, and in this video I want to address all the questions that you guys must be having regarding this specific examination. So let us discuss in detail about the eligibility. There are two types of eligibility in this examination. First one is fresher, as a fresher, and second one is as a practitioner. So let us discuss what is the eligibility as a fresher. Who is a fresher? A fresher is a fresh law graduate who has recently completed his law degree. If he meets these criterias, what criterias? First criteria is he needs to clear all his law subjects in LLB or LLM in the first attempt itself. What does first attempt mean? For example, you have law of contract, in first sem, and you fail it, okay, but you score flying colors when you appeared for it in the second sem. But now what happened? You have given it one more attempt. So this has happened in your second attempt of that specific paper. So you will not be allowed to sit for this examination as a fresher. Okay. So in order to be able to be sit for this examination as a fresher, you need to clear all your subject in the first attempt itself. Okay, this is the important thing. Second thing is you need to score more than 55% marks in your final year of LLB or LLM, whichever the course you are in right now while appearing for your JMFC examination. You need to score more than 55% mark in the final semester, in the final year, sorry. And the next thing is about the age eligibility. There's a lot of questions around age eligibility about this examination. So let me clear it out for you. For open category students, up to 25 years a student can apply as a fresher for this examination, and for reserve category it is up to 30. Okay, up to the age of 30 you can appear for this examination. So these three criterias combined will make your eligibility as a fresher. And I understand that there will still be few points that are confusing or do not appear clear. You guys have the comment box. Go ahead and write down all your concerns, and I'll be more than happy to address them in the next video or reply to in the comment itself. The next eligibility criteria is as a practitioner. As a practitioner is who? The one who has completed his LLB degree and registered themselves as an advocate with the Bar Council. That is, your bar license is assigned, and from the date of receiving that order, after 3 years, if the notification comes, you can appear as a practitioner for JMFC examination. So if you are appearing using this criteria, that is a practitioner criteria, after clearing, after doing 3 years of practice, the notification mentions 3 years of practice. Does that mean that you need to represent case during this period of 3 years? No. From the date of getting your bar license, exactly 3 years after that, you can appear for this examination, even if you have not represented a single client in the court of law. That is completely fine. Only thing that it requires is for you to register and wait for 3 years and then be eligible as a practitioner, or you can keep on practicing or do your corporate job or any other thing that you are doing and then appear for this examination. Next thing is the age criteria. In this case, for open is up to 35 years of age, and for reserve category it is up to 40 years of age. So in both the criterias, reserve categories have 5 years of grace. Okay, this is about the eligibility. I guess guys this is clear. I have tried to make it very clear. Hope there is no confusion about it. Now the next thing is syllabus. Okay, this is an important question. So you must be able to see that I have represented the acts in two different colors. Why is that? So it is because these acts that you see are just for prelims. And they don't find their reference, though while writing your mains answers, you can definitely refer to the provisions of constitutions, but still they are not there after the prelims examinations directly when it comes to your main syllabus. Okay, so the first act that is there is Code of Criminal Procedure. It is an act that administers the criminal proceedings in Indian courts. The next act is Civil Procedure Code, which again administers civil proceedings in Indian courts. The Indian Evidence Act. This act basically provides rules regarding admissibility of evidences in the code of law. The next act is Transfer of Property Act. Transfer of Property Act deals with what is property, ways of transferring property, and other rules associated with it. We'll discuss everything in detail as well, but right now I'm just giving you a brief walkthrough of what exactly happens. The next act is Specific Relief Act. In Specific Relief Act, there are remedies provided for contractual law. Whenever a party violates it, the Specific Relief Act comes into play to provide relief to the aggrieved. Next thing is IPC, that is Indian Penal Code. It is official criminal code which provides penal provisions for crimes committed. Next act is Contract Law. It ensures that promises made by parties one to other are legally bound. The next act is Sale of Goods Act. In sale of goods, what exactly happens is basically seller transfers or agrees to transfer goods to the buyer in return of some remuneration, and there will be some conditions involved, and both need to comply to these conditions. If any one of them don't comply, then this act comes into play for whoever who is agreed. The next thing is Indian Partnership Act. Partnership, as you know, is nothing but when two persons come together in order to get profit. They join hands together and start a business. They basically create a partnership, and any violations or issues coming out of this are covered in the Indian Partnership Act. Okay, now as I said, these are the points that will be there during your mains as well. So these are important acts. We need to prepare them thoroughly and well. And the next act, the Limitation Act, is basically an act that allows injured party to bring a claim outside normal statute of limitation period if he could show that he was not aware of injuries. I guess this explains itself, but still, when we are going to discuss about Limitation Act, we'll discuss everything in detail, that what exactly this limitation, what exactly this said period is. Okay. Next thing is Constitution of India. You guys all are aware that what is Constitution of India. In this prelim syllabus, we'll be basically taking articles and we'll be discussing them in depth. If you look at the previous year question paper, I'll soon be posting analysis of previous year question papers on how questions are asked. We'll also try to discuss few previous year question papers as well to understand till what depth MPSC asks the questions, what kinds of questions are asked, and how to study those things in detail in order to be able to score good marks in your prelims examination. And it's not about scoring, it's about qualifying. So you need to clearly understand that there cannot be a situation where all answers are known to you. There will be obviously situations where you don't know answers to all the questions, but the questions that you know, the questions that you are certain about, would be the questions where all people are confident or certain about, obviously the ones who have studied for it sincerely. So the competition lies there. What you need to do is that the questions that you can get correct and others can get correct as well, you need to make sure that you don't do any silly mistakes in those questions. That is going to be your deciding factor. And the remaining questions where you have to take a little risk, you need to do the elimination method. We'll also be discussing about how to eliminate the distant options and try to mark the right answer. We'll discuss that strategy in the upcoming videos. Okay, The next thing is Maharashtra Rate Control Act. It basically is an act that discusses about owner and tenant relationship, the rights that are there, and also the regulations and the process of eviction, and all that stuff is mentioned in the Maharashtra Rent Control Act. It is basically a combination of 3 different acts that were previously present and provides for procedure and a lot of other details. We'll discuss that in the upcoming videos as well. This is the syllabus of prelims. Okay, I hope there's no questions or queries. If there are, please make sure you comment down. Subscribe to this channel for upcoming videos so that whatever the questions that you ask in the comment section, I'll be more than happy to address them in the upcoming videos. So the next phase of the examination is mains examination. As we were discussing before as well, first paper would be of civil laws, second would be of criminal laws. Okay, the Civil Procedure Code, Transfer of Property Act, Specific Relief Act, Law of Contracts, Sale of Goods Act, Partnership Act would be paper 1, and paper 2 would be Indian Penal Code, Evidence Act, Code of Criminal Procedure, SCs and STs, Prevention and Atrocities Act, Protection of Civil Rights Act, and SA. Okay, now you must have noticed these 2 acts were not there while we were discussing the prelim syllabus, and rest of it was there. So these 2 acts are very small provisions, like 20-30 pages bare act, but it has a lot of implications when it comes to the current legal aspects. The question asks are applied questions, so you need to be prepared for such applied questions in this scenario. Okay, we'll discuss all these acts. I'll create a lecture series on every act and different provisions of the act. Keep following for more updates. Now this is the mains syllabus. As we have discussed, each paper has 100 marks, and it is going to be a subjective written examination, right? If you score qualifying mark and cutoff marks in this phase, you will be taken to the next phase of the examination, that is interview. Now we have discussed in the introductory part itself that it has qualifying marks. Okay, you need to score qualifying marks in this examination, but one thing that many of us fail to understand and recognize is that this phase is mostly driven by your MPSC profile. Okay, very important, MPSC profile. Okay, so whenever a student wants to register in MPSC, they are asked to create a profile where they need to submit their hobbies and other details. What we do is sometimes we have created those profiles, maybe 1-2 years we have appeared for some of the other MPSC examination, and we just wrote down that I like badminton, I like reading books, and not sure whether or not we actually had those hobbies. And what happens is we prepare sincerely for JMFC, get through and be called for the interviews, and then you see the panel asking you questions about badminton and whatnot. So in order to avoid that confusion, I request you all to please create your profile sincerely. Okay, this is very important. You need to create your profile very sincerely, where whatever the details that you have, professional, academic, and extracurricular, you need to mention those details in a sincere manner. Okay, so this phase goes like any other interview that you are aware about. The process is similar. The bench that is conducting your interview are judges, and this is a phase where they decide not based on your not based on your academic excellence, that score you have received in your mains and what knowledge you have, but then in order to judge how you will do as a person, as a judge. Okay, we'll discuss this phase separately in a separate video, where we'll discuss previous experiences of other JMFC candidates and how their interview went, what questions were asked, and what are the things that are expected by the panel in this phase. We'll discuss that later. Okay, Now the next important thing is strategy, how to strategize for this examination. As I said, I'll give you a small little introduction to how to prepare for this examination, and then after that in the next video where we'll be discussing about the reference books, we'll discuss the detailed strategy on how you should do stuff. But when it comes to the strategy, first and foremost, before you start preparing for any examination, you need to look at the previous year question papers. That is really important. If you look at the previous year question papers, you will understand what is the depth of the questions asked and how you need to approach this syllabus. This is what you will get to see in the previous year question papers. So I request you all to please go through the previous year question papers. I'll soon be coming with a video that discusses the previous year question papers in detail. Understand what depth is there, how to approach the syllabus. Like for example, I'll tell you one thing. Let us go to this prelim syllabus and let's see. If you closely notice over here, except this and this, none of the other provisions are more than 30 pages of bare act. Okay, so you basically have almost 50 to 60% of syllabus in 200 to 250 pages of bare act. Look at that advantage. I mean, just by reading 200 to 250 pages of your syllabus, you will be thorough with 50 to 60% of your whole syllabus for prelims as well as mains. Okay, that's nothing but an advantage. So I request you all to please start from these small acts and move your up. And also I request you to read simultaneously IPC, CRPC. We'll try to do that in the lecture series that we are going to come up of CRPC and IPC. And I'll try to highlight these things for you and try to help you out, guys, with best of my capacity. Now, as I said, if you are done with 50 to 60% of your syllabus, that will give you a certain amount of confidence within yourself that what exactly you need to do ahead now, right? And that is what we are aiming at. We'll try to approach this smartly in a greater efficient way. I understand that many of you guys must be doing a job somewhere or preparing for other examination while doing other things that you do. Some of you must be law students as well who are currently studying in law colleges, and I request you guys to stay in touch so that we can together work on this and make sure that we make it happen. I'm not here to do any false promises or anything over promising. I'm saying that there needs to be contribution from your end and from my end, and we'll together try to make something good and useful out of it. Okay, now I was on strategy. Okay, so as I said, there's a huge importance of previous year question papers. If you don't do it, I don't think so there's a start, because many of you must have appeared for previous examination as well, like for MPSC or any other competitive examination. Just see, if you have not been through, and if you have failed that examination, and if you have not been through previous year question papers, now you know the reason what exactly went wrong. And if you have cleared that examination, you can definitely agree with me that you must have looked into the previous year question papers or solved paper from there or analyzed papers there to understand the depth and the nature of questions asked. Though I understand every year the question format and everything is changed, but more or less prelims remains the same. Mains has a variant pattern. They keep on making changes here and there, but it's still going to be something that can be predicted and can be analyzed. Okay, there cannot be shockers, because people from different stratas will be coming and appearing for this examination. They can never make it something that is shocking and not comprehensible. Okay, they'll make changes, but changes won't be drastic. There will be changes where the exam will evolve. It will not change in a drastic manner. The evolution is slow. The next thing is understand the way questions are being formed. As I said, it is really important for you to understand how the questions are formed. Next thing is preparing to bare acts. It is the most important thing, though for few subjects or few acts we'll be referring reference books as well, but I recommend you guys to please understand how to read bare acts, how to prepare from bare acts. I'll soon come up with a video which talks about how to prepare from bare acts, how to make your own notes. And when it comes to bare acts, you know, the language is mostly difficult for you to comprehend and it takes a lot of time. You need to read the provisions once again to understand what exactly is being said there. So we'll together, what we'll do is with bare acts, we'll read reference books for additional clarity. Reference books or commentaries will have explanation of things that are not comprehensible to you. So we'll together do the writing. I'll also make sure that I do explain you any interconnections that are there with one provision to other, so that you guys can go over there and study for yourself and look for yourself how things are happening. Okay. Now again, as I said, most of the syllabus also overlaps with your LLB and BLLB syllabus. I mean, if you must have seen, many of you, if you are second year, third year students, 50%, 60% of the syllabus is already covered to you guys and you have already learnt about it. So that's an advantage. For the students who are not yet cleared their LLB and maybe in their first year or second year or third year, I request you guys to pay attention to your teachers or faculties, or start preparing on your own, because the syllabus that is going to be there for the JMFC examination is more or less overlapping your LLB syllabus. Okay. Next important thing is make your own notes. Making your own notes is the most important part. You need to make your own notes where you strategize yourself, and these notes should be explanatory to you. Okay. And obviously before your examination, like 1 month, 2 months before your examination, you can go through the whole syllabus all over. In that case, you need your short notes that are comprehensible to you, and the notes that give you a clear idea on how things are happening. And I'll recommend you do the e-notes instead of writing them down, but then it again depends on each person's choices and preferences on how they like it. We'll discuss in detail how to make notes both way, offline as well as online, because when you take e-notes or online notes, what happens is if you found a good article, a good thing that is being discussed in the newspaper, you can take that article and paste it in your notes. But when it comes to offline notes, when you write something down, it is really hard for you to gel in something that you are newly found, because this process is going to be an evolving thing. It's not going to be a 1 day preparation, 1 month preparation. It is something that is going to take time from 6 months to 1 year. So during that phase, you need to be in touch with one national newspaper. Okay, you need to read a national newspaper every day, so that you get what is going on in the legal aspects. And what you need to read basically from these national newspapers is first 3 pages where news are covered, and the editorial page where editorial is written in respect of legal studies and whatever the things that are related to your legal aspects. Okay. The most important thing over here, as we have discussed, mains is the phase that will basically decide whether you will clear this examination or not, because it has 200 marks and it is the most important phase where you can score a lot of marks if you are properly prepared yourself. By properly, what do I mean is you need to write at least 2 to 3 answers every week to evolve your writing process, because this skill is something that will eventually improve. You may not be good with English, you may be coming from a small town, and you may not be confident about the way you write your answer, but there's no easier way of doing this. And the only way it is possible for you to score great marks in this phase is by practicing every day or every week at least 2-3 questions, and then getting them evaluated from your friends, or create a small group of not more than 4 aspirants or people of same nature that they are sincere about this examination, they also want to get through. Or I am not sure whether it is going to be possible for me to actually evaluate every person's answer, but I'd be more than happy to accommodate something and then talk to you guys about this and provide you feedback or my understanding of how you need to improve. But then it cannot happen without you guys practicing. Okay, that I am very much sure about. You need to practice. The next thing is judgment writing exercise. I'll also take a session on judgment writing, how to write judgments, and we'll also pull in a judge or a JMFC aspirant that has previously cleared this examination, and we'll try to understand how they have prepared for this specific section, which gives you 40 marks, right? So 40 marks is not a small thing. Out of 200 marks, 40 marks makes up for 20% of your total marks, and this is important. We need to understand how judgments are written. So soon we'll try to have a senior JMFC or recently selected JMFC to help us out with how to write judgments. So guys, this is all from my part when it comes to syllabus and strategy. In the next video we'll be discussing about the reference books that we need to refer and a detailed strategy video. So thanks a lot for following leg sample. I'll take your leave now and see you in the next video. All the best.